Hey everybody, I'm Leela Witherspoon, and today I'm going to be talking about my final 3 drawings for this Drawing for Painters class. I'm going to start here by going through my artist statement, which I have revised. My art is unraveling the moments of fear all humans experience, whether or not we navigate those moments with confidence or despair. I am often awkward or feel alone when I am afraid, and so these drawings are meant to shine a light on the areas within myself where I feel the most vulnerable. Transformation happens at moments where humans are the most uncomfortable, and that is the root of this body of work. Making this artwork, I began by imagining myself in the position of my subjects and how it would feel in that moment, falling through the void, a realm representing isolation. The work shows human forms wrapped in beams of trailing light. The beams break apart and get wrapped around the forms in complex ways. The people are drawn in black with lighter edges, which is the opposite from traditional shading, emphasizing otherworldliness and inner light made visible. Just like people, each subject within the series is reacting to their situation in different ways. My artwork shows the complexity of the moment, the uncontrollable wildness of growth, and the dense and tangled emotions that exist within us all. Okay, let's get into it. Drawing number 1, the dive. So I'm actually quite proud of this and how it manifested. Had some frustrating moments with technical things at the time, but as I've had, a couple weeks to brew on it, I'm 90% happy with it, and I think there was a lot of things I learned on this one that I'm grateful for. I love the background. If I could do it again, I would change the medium, but I don't know. I don't think I will be recreating this one. I think I'm going to let this one stand as is. So it is 16 by 35, so it's very long. Ink on paper, so this is a watercolor paper that had a little bit more texture to it. And walking away from this one, I thought, well, maybe if the paper was smoother, I would have a little bit less problem with when I'm hatching with the quill. Like after a while, it would start damaging the paper. And I'm realizing now that that was just because I was applying 5 layers of ink. And there was just no way that after 5 layers of, working on top of something with a very sharp quill, the paper wasn't going to hold up to it. And so I thought the paper would fix it. So I switched to a different one and it didn't. So drawing number 2, the help. Just help. I don't know what's the help. Help. I was really proud of the composition as I was working on it, but I think there was something that got lost here. And I am underwhelmed by this one, to the point where I felt like I really needed to switch gears. And so I'm definitely going to rework this idea someday. Probably with paint, but so this one's also 16 by 35, ink on paper. This was a hot press paper, so smoother, which also led to some differences in regards to like that ink, like kind of wonderful texture in the background that I got in the first one. There was a different absorbency that happened, and it didn't quite turn out the same in this one. So, feeling frustrated with how this one manifested here, I decided to switch. I initially was going to do oil pastels, and I set that all up and I got it ready to go and I had everything planned out, and then I sat down to do it and it was just too clunky, that the oil pastels were too thick for the level of detail I was creating. So I had to let that go. And then I ended up on color pencils and I did a test of it. I was very happy with it, and I was able to, while working with warm grays in the color pencil, was able to really kind of replicate the feel of the India ink. And so I'm fairly happy with Pulled. Drawing number 3. Same size, 16 by 35, it was a lot for color pencil. It was a lot. But I did it, and there's some, with the background, it was crazy. So I had a death in the family this weekend, late last week, and I spent a lot of time in the hospital and with my family in lots of ways, and it took away some very concrete time I needed to finish this. But I got through it. I'm very happy with like the form itself and the body. It's just, there's so many more layers of blending I could do And so while I spent at least like 15, 16 plus hours on this, I could put another 10 into it easily. And I look forward to attempting that on a slightly smaller scale for my next piece with color pencil, obviously. I'm not saying I'll stay smaller with everything, but so sketches. This is the main one that I gravitated towards. This was the one that for drawing number 1, I was the most like confident going forward. I was like, that's what I'm doing. I know what it is, and I feel really good about it. And so this was the, planning it out with my the armature of the rectangle and all that kind of stuff, and just doing my best to manifest it. And I was really proud of it to the point where, like, when I was taking detail shots, most of the detail shots I took photos of were of the background. I really, really loved that. Drawing number 2 sketches were mostly about me just trying to work out the shape of the body and the position and how that was going to work when kind of being all torqued up and twisted and bound. And so we ended up with this, which I really liked. I was very proud of this, and I was very excited to start it. And I'm just, I'm not sure where I went wrong with it technically, but yeah, I look forward to messing around with that idea again in the future. And drawing number 3, I had a lot of different ideas. This horizontal fall one was like kind of one of the main plans I had, and then I just ended up feeling like it wasn't what I wanted out of this series, and so I spent some time trying out some different ideas and ended up here. I really look forward to trying out that one at some point. But drawing number 3, working on it, love duck to water with large scale color pencils. And there's the detail shot of it. Anyway, I don't love this kind of fiery background thing. I think that was me trying to replicate the ink. I honestly kind of wish I'd just done the ink for the background. So that might be something I experiment with in the future. Lots of directions to go, lots of things to try. And I loved this, and I loved getting the chance to experiment and go down different paths that I probably wouldn't have. I know I wouldn't have without this class to push me there. So anyway, thank you all.